Hello, good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us on Galaxy. Today, I am Justin Akadomia.
And is joined by Uche Onyekuluje. As usual, it's Tuesday, the 25th of April, 2018. Well, we get into serious news, as you know that. And today we'll be looking at what Nigerians are saying and why they're condemning Buhari's statement. President Muhammadu Buhari's statement or comment on youth. Hashtag lazy Nigerian youth, right, Justin?
Yes, so we're looking at that, and of course we're looking at the place of Nigerians, Nigerian youth specifically, and nation building, their contributions so far, their actions, their inactions like some people believe, and of course what they can do as regards moving the nation forward in the wake of preparations and momentum, gathering ahead 2019. We'll be looking at all of those matters on the show this morning, and it promises to be very exciting because you can be a part of it. If you are a Nigerian youth, if you are not lazy, just be part of this discussion by sending an SMS. The number will be displayed shortly on the screen. You can also interact with us via our various social media platforms using the hashtag Galaxy Today. We have a gentleman with us in the studio who has several feathers to his cap.
Exactly. His, of course, is a name that you're all familiar with, and he's the UN Youth Ambassador for Peace. The person of Dayo Israel. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be on the show.
Okay. Okay, well, I see you as someone who can actually represent the youth, Okay, now, people are angry. Why would the president say Nigerian youths are lazy?
Two things. I'm not going to defend the president or speak on his behalf because I will be doing Femi Adesina's job and Gabashewu's job for them, and that's not my proxy. I would speak first as a citizen. One that is first important I need to clarify is that I do not believe that the president's statement in London would harm or hurt the image of young Nigerians or would drive away investment. Why do I say that? The international community are very much aware of the energies of Nigerian young people. They are aware of our talent, of our energy. They are aware of our creativity. They are aware of our innovation. Look at young people like Jazzy and D'banj, how they brought more aid and to build what their new empire is now. I can't remember what it's called. Maven, for example, how they've been able to take Nollywood from nothing, from all those village movies into a global, look at what how they've been able to even. I don't want to mention a few other projects and all of that. Even the music industry, I know what it was many years ago. And look at what it has become today. So they're aware of the energies of Nigerian young people. You go to any country of the world and you see a young Nigerian there and they're blazing the trail. I went into London Metropolitan University. When I got into university in London, there were no Nigerian on the student council. As a matter of fact, I think there was only one black person, African, who was even in the student union system as a whole. But by the time I left there, I rose to become the first African to be elected as the student council chair in London Metropolitan University. And that time, it was the largest university in London and the third largest in the UK or Europe or something like that. We had about 35,000 students. And by the time I even left there, we also had, out of the 10 positions for student union, we had about 3 that were Nigerians, and a few years after I left, we had the 10 position, on at least 9 out of 10 were filled by Nigerians, because we go into a system and we take over. Why do you think the South Africans are threatened by us with those xenophobia attack? Because a Nigerian comes in there and before you know it, they open a shop, they open a business.
But since the international community, the South Africans, the British people, the rest of the world, know all of this, how come we cannot localize it here? Is it that the present administration is not certain of, or they don't really believe, or they don't have faith, or they just want to completely disregard the nation's use?
I also would say something about the president making the remark and then localizing it. First, you would also understand that the president as an individual is an old man. The challenge with people of that generation is that they say things as it is or as they think it is, or as my grandmother would see a young lady going with a mini skirt and she would say, "She will not be lady." oh, wow, meaning, don't you have parents at home? Why do you dress her like that? Because she's an SU, and so she sees you wearing skimpy, and your belly button is showing, and I'm sure you have all those adults like that. The same way President Trump would say things, you understand? So, for example, when President Buhari said, my wife belongs to the kitchen and to the other room, the reality of that is the man, in most likely, got married to Her Excellency, you know, in his old age, you know, looking for somebody to take care of him in his old age. So Baba Biara, for example, just remarried recently. You know, his children told him to remarry to take care of him. Same with Bishop Oyedepo. So many times what I've realized over the years is that many of these old men, they then get to marry, not because they're marrying for love like we do with our lovebirds, but they're marrying to have a woman that takes care of us. So when you look at it objectively, you actually understand where the conversation is coming from. So you are now able to really understand where, you know, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak, that this person is speaking from this. But we're not going to hold ourselves down because of, you know, you're able to be empathic and you can relate when you understand where something is coming from. But then how do we localize it? It's a fundamental issue. The fundamentalism of that issue is the fact that we live in a country that is structurally defective. You cannot not sustainably grow our country without changing things about our structure. There are many talents in this country. Young people live here and they go to Europe, they go to North America, they go to nations of the world and they blossom. Why? Because the enabling environment is not here. Okay. The environment does not support creativity. Okay, I thank God for what the Vice President is doing and what the Empower and the SIP is doing. But like I said somewhere recently, it's a fantastic idea, but it's not sustainable until it becomes part of our system, welfare system.
All right, you know, I just like the fact that you actually have a strong faith and, you know, you actually understand where the Nigerian youths and their place is. Okay, let's see if our guest in Abuja shares similar optimism. We're joined by Samson Itodo. He is the Head Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, IAGA. Many thanks for joining us, Samson. All right, looking at all of, you know, the comments and counter comments that have, you know, poured in over the week since the president statement at the UK. Do you agree that the Nigerian youth are actually the best in the world when it comes to advancing in the space of struggles?
I think it's important to place on record that the Nigerian youth are not only the best in the world, but we are actually driving socioeconomic change and development across the world. I don't in any way agree with the president, irrespective of whatever philosophical convictions he had or whether that is a reflection of a reality. I think the president goofed. He erred in every respect, and we cannot make excuses for the president. And that is why he's a president. And it also speaks to the competence of the individuals that we elect into public office. I think it is very, very important that we recognize the fact that we've got a president that does not in any way appreciate the energy, the resilience of young people. When he was running for office, he had a lot of young people who actually voted for him. But after the elections, let's take a census of the level of youth representation in this administration. The 5 people who must see the president based on protocol and our structure are all elderly people. If you look at the ministerial appointments that were also made, the youngest as at 2015 was about 52, and that's way above the youth age. So you've got a political leadership headed by the president who does not appreciate the fact that young people even have something to contribute. And it's this same mentality that we have in public office, that young people are nothing but beneficiaries and they are not partners in progress. Because if young people are partners in progress, then I expect that there are key positions of government that you should have young people. But it just explains the fact that the president thinks that young people are lazy and we have nothing to contribute, and we are nothing but beneficiaries of either programs that are handed down to us by the current administration. And so I take exception to that statement. It is irresponsible of him to have said that. And whether he was speaking figuratively or with whatever the reason is, I think this should be condemned. It is only a reflection of the mentality of not just the president, but our ruling political elites, who think that young people cannot be partners in progress, but are beneficiaries of government programs.
I still want us to look at this from this angle. I mean, there's a quotation here. He was quoted, I mean, the president. He said that more than 60% of the population, that's the youth population, is below age 30. A lot of them haven't been to school, and they're claiming that Nigeria has been an oil-producing country. Therefore, they should sit and do nothing and get housing, healthcare, and education free. Now, this was quoted. I just quoted what the president said. Do you not think that some youths actually fall into this category? I'm not dancing to the percentage he gave you, but I'm asking, have you not come across youth who actually feel because we're an oil-producing country, then things should be a bit more, a bit more friendly? I mean, the environment, every other thing looks so harsh, and people tend to hide under this present government. They try to use this present government to polish their laziness. I'm just asking, in your own opinion, do you not think we have youths who fall into this category?
I love your question, and you did say some youth. You didn't in any way generalize, and I think it's important that we underscore that fact, that yes, you do have some youth, but let's look at this more critically, that every young person is actually a product of society. And so if you say young people are lazy and they've got this entitlement mentality, the key question we should ask ourselves is, what has this society, what's this structure of society that we have established or built that these young people were actually born to? Now, we didn't create this society. We were born into this society that is so unequal, with all its vagaries of ineptitude, poor diversity management, and corruption. But then there's also a generational burden on us to actually reverse and dislodge this inequality. But are there young people who are lazy? Yes, there are young people who are lazy. Are there young people who are unemployed? There are young people who are unemployed. But what are we doing to address this question of unemployment? A few months ago, we were about 14% unemployment rate. But now we're somewhere around 18.4%. And if you look at even the structure, and let's take education for instance, look at what it takes to graduate out of, to gain admission into the university. Look at what it takes to come out of the university. God helps you, you come out of the university as a woman and you don't have lecturers actually asking you for 5 rounds of sex before you pass any course or pass any exam. And then you come out of the university and then there are no jobs. You either have government institutions and parastatals extorting money from innocent citizens, young people who do not have these resources to actually pay. Why do I have to pay to actually get jobs if my country cares about me and the government performs its statutory responsibility of providing the welfare and security for its people? Chapter 2 of our Constitution is very, very clear on the purpose of government. But government has failed in its responsibility. And so we shouldn't turn around and ask and say those young people who are actually a microscopic few, because majority of young Nigerians are not just energetic, but they are hardworking. There's a reason why we are termed as the most entrepreneurial across the world. You need to go to the villages, go to the farms and see what young people are doing. But when they go to the farms and they have their products, do they have the roads to actually transport these goods and their farm produce from the local and the rural community to the market where they intend to sell them? Or is it about the fact that you've got young people who are so innovative and they share their proposals with government institutions And these government institutions do what? They take these proposals, they implement the project, they steal the idea without any form of compensation or reward for people who actually innovate. So it is actually an insult to say that there are young people who, or most young people are lazy. I don't agree. We also have elderly people who are lazy as well. And they are there. They are in every aspect of our national life. But we must continually celebrate young people who are working hard and are contributing to national development. When you talk about economic transformation or economic development, it is the informal sector that drives the economy. Who are those who actually dominate the informal sector? They are young people. So let's give young people some credit, for God's sake.
Thank you to Samson Itodo. He is the head of the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YIAGA. He joined us from Abuja. In a moment when we return, you will agree with me that Nigerians have actually done so well in terms of economics, in terms of medicine and other aspects of technology worldwide. So we're looking about how far Nigerian youths have done or have gone in the terms of going into politics and handling the hems of affairs in this country. But first of all, let us take a quick report that's put together by Joseph Oko. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
50% of the population is below the age of 30. A lot of them haven't been to school, and they are claiming, that Nigeria has been an oil-producing country. Therefore, they should sit and do nothing and get housing, healthcare, education free.
But those remarks have continued to stir outrage among Nigerians. It has even led to a major storm campaign online, with some opposed to the ruling APC joining in. Some Lagos residents who spoke to Galaxy News have described the statements as derogatory and spiteful, which may have serious implications on President Buhari's second-term bid.
That kind of statement will actually jeopardize his political ambition. Except maybe he will make things better subsequently. Maybe come out to make a general statement.
He said a lot of Nigerians. A lot of them, what does it mean? If I may ask you, a lot of Nigeria is like 70, 80, 90% of Nigeria. So definitely he's talking to us. A lot of Nigeria means all of us.
The utterances are there. I don't even expect such a person to be. I've never had it in my life. I think he need to apologize.
Okay, if Nigerians are lazy, will they be looking for jobs? Can a lazy man be looking for a job?
But has the president's comments been misconstrued? Some of his aides have since rose to his defense, a move many see as damage control.
Damage control for everything. There are times you allow the damage to wear itself out, then go back to drawing board.
The cabinet or the ministers are saying, they are saying to defend their job.
This isn't the first time the president has been accused of making controversial statements outside the shores of the country. Respondents have, however, advised that he checks with his team on media before ad-libbing so as not to hurt the sensibilities of the public.
All right, welcome back. It's still Galaxy. Today, our focus is on youth and nation building. We have Dayo Israel with us in the house. He is a UN Youth Ambassador for Peace. Dayo, let's look at another angle now. Still talking about nation building. It's 2019 is almost here, and a lot of people are talking about getting PVCs, trying to vote out the wrong people in government and vote in the right ones. But if you look at all the agitations and all of that, do you see a situation where you're to be given equitable place in this new dispensation come 2019?
Okay, first I want to give a final comment on the president's
Yes, please.
comment. While I've talked about the president's mindset, I'm a lawyer, so before I think about anything, I think of mens rea and actus reus. In law, before you can convict anybody, you have to look what is the mens rea behind the actus reus, the mental element behind their action. Why did they say what they say? So I put the mens rea down based on the fact that the president is an old man and he will say things the same way Trump would do, and he will not care about what it is. You know, I put that reservations there. But at the same time, it's important that Nigerians as a people begin to wash away their mind from a beggarly mentality. There's nothing wrong in the people actually saying we are an oil-producing state and we deserve some welfare system. Now, I will give you an example. When Libya was Libya and Gaddafi was head of state, because he was able to manage the resources very well, the citizens did not have to struggle to get a job. He was doing a lot to serve the people. While he was also a very strong man in terms of military power, he was producing welfare because the people were entitled to revenue from the resources. As a matter of fact, I understand that Libyans get allowances every month. They get jobs, they get cars, they get everything until the West came, intervened, and toppled the government. But you could see the prosperity of the ordinary Libyan people, that Nigerians were running to Libya because of their state welfare system, because they had oil. It might be agriculture, it might be oil, but look at the West. From Germany to Britain to France, every of those nations had institutionalized welfare system. If you give birth in London today, you begin to get about 75 to 150 pounds per child every week from the government till that child clocks 18 as child support, not just from the father, but from the government. If you lose your job, you have allowance. If you are disabled, you get disability allowance from government just for doing nothing. It doesn't make them useless. It doesn't make them lazy. It's just a fundamental right. Britain doesn't even have oil, but the government has a responsibility. As in the Constitution, the government must provide security, must provide employment, must provide jobs. So you're not doing a favor to citizens when you provide good roads, when you provide feeding allowances, when you provide intervention money for them. Every Nigerian is entitled to NHS system. In England, if you fall sick, you have the National Health Insurance that you can draw out of. You can go to the hospital as long as you have an NHS number. Let me tell you something. If you are homeless in London, you also get council flats. They give you free accommodation to stay. God help you, you are a woman. You have children and you now need accommodation. Because you get money because you are not working. You will get money from each of your children. As a matter of fact, Nigerians even abuse the system. The Nigerians will go to London. They have children there. They will now be collecting money and using the money to build house in Lagos. That's how. But the government, the fact is that the government actually has a responsibility. They don't have oil. Talk less of we now have oil. Then you hear 100 billion here. So $1 billion has gone into arms from the last government and this government. Imagine if those billions are shared as allowances to individuals. Nigerians deserve more from every government. I belong to the All Progressive Congress, but I'm also saying as a citizen of Nigeria that there is no excuse. And that's why I said I'm happy that at least this administration is giving the Empower program is giving money. But it has to become sustainable. When the administration leaves, will that continue in this country? That's one. Because it is not part of a long-term system and structure. And that is what we need to do. Those welfare systems, Awolowo had it. Western region, you had free education. You had jobs before you even, you had cars with your job. But they don't exist in Nigeria anymore. And we have so much money. But some small people are looting this money into their pocket. They're keeping this money into their own places. And we keep on bringing Somebody was saying to me in my local government yesterday that they just appointed a man into a board in the local government. He is already proposing to the local government chairman that why don't they begin to collect 20 naira on everybody who is hawking in the local government. That one too wants to begin to cut ticket. You will pay taxes to the state government, you pay taxes to the local government, then they will be paying multiple taxes, lock up shop. No, we can't continue to embolden the people. It is important that we understand that government is not about taking and saying oil is going. Oil is going. Dangote is still rebuilding refinery in Nigeria. Oil is going. We are still looking for oil in northeast Nigeria. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. So let's get back to my question. I understand your passion because it is actually a very sad situation. But as it is right now, 2019 is actually around the corner. Politics, do you think youth are being given fair chances when they play at the various party levels?
Currently, we are not. But they're not going to give us a chance. It is our responsibility to go and take the chance. One of my leaders, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, would always say, power is not served a la carte. Nobody's going to open the door to you. 2 days ago, I announced that I'm going to be seeking election in the 2019 election. I'm going to be running for Congress, either at state level or federal. I'm still consulting, but I'm going to be running. And, you know, people say, wow, interesting. I said, I'm not waiting for anybody to tell me to go and run. That's the mindset that we have. We're waiting for a leader to tell us to go and run, or for a leader to tell us the coast is clear. No, you also have to stand up. And that's the problem we have. I always say to our party leaders that, you know, when they say it's only one man that is most innocent in Nigeria, that can save the country, there are many good men in the parliament who can run. My governor in Lagos can run this nation. It doesn't mean he's perfect, but he has what it takes. Macron, who is running France, does not have two heads, and Akinwumi Ambode, who is running Lagos. Fashola, who has been governor here, can run this nation. Fayemi can run this. I'm not talking about their integrity and their morality, but they have the capacity to run this nation. Fela Durotoye can run this nation. It's not a man, it's a team. You bring in different experts to be able to manage and handle different. How much does the president do? Oshibade does most of the thing economically, and the ministers does all their various jobs. But people need to rise. Nobody is even standing up, even in the All Progressive Congress, are saying that they want to come and run against the president in the primaries. That should not happen. We are the bright minds. No, we need to begin to come out. Nobody's going to call us. I was saying this in a church on Sunday, talking about faith and politics. The Bible says in the book of Daniel chapter 10, verse 24, 27, it says, now is the time for the saint of the Most High to take the kingdom. You don't get given the kingdom. You take the kingdom. Even when God was going to give them the land in the Bible, they had to, he said, go and I've given to you Og the king of Bashan, Sihon the king of the Amorites. Go and contend with him in battle. You have to fight for what you want and what belongs to you. You can't wait for a political that says, oh yeah, go and run here. Oh yeah, go and... No. That mindset is changing because the world has changed. The things are going to change politically. And if you really want true change, if you think you have an interest of the people, you want to stand up. Go and volunteer yourself. Let people know. Let them decide if they want you or not. If you think you are good and they don't want you, it's their loss. You go back to your normal life. I ran for chairman. I didn't win the election. I went back to my normal life. I've been meeting with world leaders, consulting. I just came back from England 2 times this year already. Addressing, speaking at the UK Parliament. I spoke at the House of Commons in January. I spoke at the House of Commons in March. You know, consulting, advising world leaders. People said they didn't want, I didn't get a chance to be able to even go to the people in the local government election. But life goes on. The challenge is that most of these people who want to run for office don't even have a second address. They don't have a second job. They don't believe that they have the capacity in their own right to even be able to win an election. And so they wait and hide under a party or a godfather to be able to win. And when we continue to do that, corruption will continue to be enmeshed in our political system.
Thank you so much. We're still going to come to you. Okay, I'm sorry, but we have to go straight to Ibadan, where we have Comrade Abiodun Bamigboye, the Southwest Chairman for Social Party of Nigeria. Good morning, Abiodun. We are talking on the nation building, of course, Nigerian youths, looking at the hashtag lazy Nigerian youth. That's been trending. A whole lot of Nigerians are condemning the statement of President Muhammadu Buhari, and we want to know your take on this. Do you agree with his statement, or you do not?
All right, is Ibadan ready for us? Okay, I think we should just continue in Lagos, and we'll try and reconnect with Ibadan.
Okay, I like the statement you made. You saying something about Nigerian youths going for what they want. Some people claim that they don't know how to go about it. Some people do not even understand. I don't think a whole lot of us understand our civic responsibilities and rights. You know, so you as a person are encouraging people to go. Some people think the best way to take what you want is by voting the right person, and a whole lot of them do not even have their PVCs yet. So in your own opinion, if you're saying Nigerian youth should go take over, what is it? What exactly are you saying to them?
The responsibility is not just on the youth, but on everybody. Our mothers and our fathers. They have to secure the future of their children. Yeah. So in the election, if you are not going to run, you must vote. Go and get your PVCs. If you have to line up, go and line up. And it's not just for you to do proof of ID in the bank. Your PVC is for you to vote on election day and vote the right people. Don't sell your future because of 1,000 naira, bread and a bottle of Coke. You will regret it.
Just like
for 4 years. Yeah. So now that's number one. Number two is for young people who want to get involved in politics. There are two ways to get involved in politics. You can either seek to run for election or to be involved in politics without contesting. Let me start from the one without contesting. And it's in my book, The Audacity to Run. It's going to be available very soon. I've talked about my political experiences and lessons for young people that want to run for office, The Audacity to Run. The first part is this. For every elected position, there are over 20 or 30 appointed. Now, let me give you an analysis of Lagos. Lagos, we have maximum 65 people who are elected. We have the governor, deputy governor. We have 40 in the House of Assembly. We have 3 senators and about 26 in the House of Reps. All of them is no more than 75. But guess what? For all of those, in particular at the state level or the governorship level, there are commissioners that were not elected, appointed. There are SAs, there are SSAs, and there are secondary SAs. So there's special assistant, special assistant, then special advisors. You understand? There are DGs of board, chairman of parastatals, and members of boards. Thousands of positions. You can be up to 2,000. Even in local governments, the chairman will have supervisors, SAs, SSAs, and all the members of board of revenue generation. Now, all of those have people who they see and is available to them. There is a mindset, in particular, that the churches and our fathers have said, I want you on Ishelo. People who are idle are the ones doing politics. So they run away from it. But see, it is the people that you see that worked for you during the election that you will compensate to work with you on your team and give position. So when you are intelligent, you are smart, you are bright, you have experience, but you are not around there, you don't get involved. The challenge is the chances of you being called upon to come and become any of those over 2,000 appointed positions is very slim, except you have a father, a mentor, a godfather who was given a slot and will now say, oh yeah, Baba Efun Aloruko Inyoko. They now put your name down. Otherwise, it's only those who fought in the election.
All right, just hold that thought, Dayo. We'll still come back to you. We are getting signals again from Ibadan Comrade Abiodun Bamigboyo. He is the Southwest Chairman, Socialist Party of Nigeria. And many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today as we look at youth and nation building. You present, or you head the Southwest when it comes to Social Party of Nigeria. How would you say now that the youth have been represented at the SP and that's your party? Have they been given equal opportunity vis-a-vis chances to contest the primaries and all of that?
Yes, like you can obviously see from my own personal appearance, I'm in my 30s and I'm the national deputy chairperson for the party in the Southwest. That is an indication of the disposition of our party, towards making sure that youth are actively involved, in politics, towards the process of changing this current character of the bourgeois system in the country, for the betterment of the Nigerian working people. So our party encourages active involvement and participation of youth, in politics. But we are not a party that advocates for youth involvement in politics alone, because we realized that the problem facing Nigeria is not because whether we are ruled by a youth or we are ruled by old persons. The root cause of all of our problem in this system is the capitalist system of exploitation and corruption. So therefore, even if we have a president of age of 10, 50 or 40 years old, it is not guaranteed that it's going to translate to an improvement in the living condition of the working people. And that is why we are always emphasize the need for a government that will be run under a socialist program, which means that the commanding height of the economy itself will be placed under the democratic control and management of the working people themselves. And every elected political office holder must be placed under the salaries and wages earned by the civil servant. It is through this kind of arrangement that we can begin to move in a direction of demonetizing the politics. Few weeks ago, Shehu Sani, a radical senator, even though he was elected under the platform of a bourgeois political party, APC, he made a very striking revelation over the outrageous salaries and allowance often earned by the political office holder. And there's no way a political office holder will be exposed to this kind of opulence lifestyle that they will think in direction of the working people. And that is why it is convenient for the president, who ordinarily supposed to be apologizing to Nigerians, especially youth, for failing them in fulfilling their electoral promise which they made in the period of election, for him to be describing Nigerian youth as lazy people. If not, because these are the people, when they were contesting in 2015, they promised that in few months into their regime that they are going to create hundreds of jobs. As we speak now, no job has been created. Instead, the unemployment rate has skyrocketed, from, I think as I speak now, more than 54 million Nigerians are unemployed. And instead of that kind of regime to be apologizing to Nigeria for their failure to meet, to yield to their electoral promises, rather they are now blaming youth, for being lazy, as if that is the root cause of their problem. Like we often say that Nigerian youth are not lazy. In short, very industrious and hardworking Nigerian youth. But those who are guilty, who are to be accused of being lazy, are our political officers, including the president themselves. They are lazy, they are corrupt. The only thing they know doing is to be presiding over the collective resources of the society to maintain their opulence lifestyle. So if there's anybody or to be accused of laziness, it should be the political elite, because they have failed in their social responsibility of making sure that the social life, provision of things that will make life better for Nigerians,
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Bamigboye. But let me just ask you one quick question before we'll let you go. In all of this, most Nigerian youth would say one of the reasons they've not really been so, upcoming or forthcoming rather as regards politics and taking the hands of affairs in this country is that the Nigerian politics is so monetized that if you don't have the wherewithal, if you're not really so wealthy, or if you don't have what do they call them, godfathers and all of that, you cannot really succeed or even go far in politics. Going by what you have said and your party SP, and would you really say you guys have a huge chance to thrive come 2019, specifically where money politics is the order of the game in Nigeria? Very quickly, please.
Is that a 2019 participation in the election will never be enough to correct the huge ruts that has been created over years. But despite that, our party is going to participate in the election come 2019. As we speak, even in this Oyo State now, our party will be participating in a local government election which has been scheduled to take place on the 12th of May. But we are not going to overestimate our capacity. Don't forget, this is a party registered January this year, after 4 years of tumultuous struggle, with INEC. That was when courts mandated INEC to register us. But what we are saying invariably is that the rot itself is so enormous that a single intervention in election cannot correct the rot. However, we are going to participate, and our participation will be to show the Nigerians and the working people that there's a better way society can be run, than the current way the bourgeois political party and government formed by them often run it. And that is exactly what we want to demonstrate with our intervention and participation in 2019 general election.
All right, that's as much as we can take from our end there at Ibadan. Comrade Abiodun Bamigboye is the Southwest Chairman, Socialist Party of Nigeria. Dayo Israel is still here with us in the house, and we will be taking your comments shortly as regards this particular topic. But before we do that, Dayo Israel, I want you to still throw more light on the question I asked him. Monetization and Nigerian politics, how can the youths of Nigeria survive that?
Two things. Number one, you need to become a person of value. If you want to run for office, you can't come from nowhere. Every politics is local. So you're coming for assembly, or you want to go to reps, or you want to become a chairman or a councillor. It's all the same thing. You're coming from a base. So how popular are you in your base? When you're popular in your base and people know you and you've been doing stuff over the years, you don't actually really have to spend a lot because they know you, they know that you're coming there for something. The challenge is when you're actually not resourceful, you're not part of the community, you're not impacting the community, and you just want to run because you think that you want the perks of office. Then you now begin to spend money to do stuff. But when you actually have, even if you want to spend money, you're spending the money on the people, in doing stuff to touch people's lives, not because for example, when we were doing our campaign, we did some vocational training program. And I reminded people that even in 2007, when I was still in university, when I was a young boy, I did a free 6 weeks vocational summer school with my brother, supported by the House of Assembly member at that time, my local government. But we did it, we developed it, we managed it, we organized it for about 6,000 plus students in the local government. I was a little boy. So we have been doing stuff. The capacity has just grown now where we could now also do a 3 week free vocational training program for 7,000 people in the community, giving them over 40 skills. So it's easy. People already know you. My community call me pastor, 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 pastor. You understand? The question is, how are you relevant in your community? Because if they know that you are their son, you are their brother, you are their friend, you've been doing stuff for them, it is easy for them to support you. The money you spend most of the time is for people to induce against the people's will and the person the people want. You understand? But when you're actually about the people, yes, you will still spend the money, but you will not spend a lot. So now, the real money you spend, because you still need money. I'll give you an example. To print posters, 1,000 A2 posters to post, just to show yourself that you are running, is not less than 50,000 naira. That one, nobody's collecting it from you. You have to do that because you want people to know that at least you are running. Now, because of LASA, you might not even be able to do posters anymore. You want to do flex banners that you can put. Those flex banners, each of them costs about 3,000 to 4,000 just to print them, or 5,000. Now, to put it on a wood and frame it costs another maybe 1,000 per piece. So you're looking at 5,000 to 6,000, and you need, maybe you want to run for councillor. So in your own ward, you need maybe 50 to 100. That's 5,000 times 100. That's almost 500,000 naira. So those are essentials that you will spend money on. And if you don't, you now need to do word of mouth. Word of mouth means you also need to mobilize your friends, buy them minerals and coke, who begin to knock on doors and begin to. So naturally, politics itself is expensive. But then when you are good in the community, people themselves will begin to make the noise for you. They will support you. They will even put the money there for you and finance you. It may not be from the community, but your friend and your loved ones.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Dayo, for throwing more light and giving us an insight on the expenses, involved in campaigning. But let's take some of the feedbacks right now. I support what your guest is saying, because until we take away or do away with this mindset of godfatherism, we are going nowhere, nor are we fighting corruption to its logical end. That was from Amir in Jos. Sir, you have spoken well, please, about the permanent... I can understand, but he's trying to talk about the Empire project, but maybe just try and rephrase what you said so we can actually take that feedback once again. This one is Arinze Chuku from Lusada in Ogun State. Good morning, everyone. Buhari's speech is too bad. He has disqualified himself already for next term. Where is his son and what is he doing for living? Okay, let's just take more. Good morning. The political party in Nigeria, the political parties in Nigeria are our problems because the way these leaders emerge from their various parties is not democratic. I think the political parties should allow the bright minds to emerge as their party flag bearers because at the end of the day, we are voting whoever this party is put forward to us, and every candidate contesting should be subjected to live debate in every state they visit. That's from Osazua from Benin. What the speaker is saying is the truth. Please, where can I get copies of this interview? Aminu Shehu from Bauchi. All right, Aminu Shehu, thanks for your comment. We will be posting it on our YouTube channel, and you can actually watch that much later today. All right, the president needs to apologize to our country for that speech. In Benue State, Gwa East local government, precisely in a village, Aya, suspected herdsmen today attacked people in a funeral and a wakekeep and killed lots of people. He should be aware that the youths are leaders of tomorrow. Let me one more. Please, I am not giving any particular percentage, but Mr. President has no right to make such comment. How many? Okay, if you want me to take your comment, please just try and make it very simple and try to put your words together. All right, let me continue with you now, just before we wrap up this particular session, Israel. You've talked about the place of money, but one of our viewers here talked about political parties and the people they put forward in terms of primaries and all of that. At the end of the day, it's the people that they present that the people can vote, after all, because we don't do direct democracy, we do indirect democracy. So how can we handle that particular issue? Because most times you don't really have a choice as per who you really want to vote. It's what they present to you that you can actually make a choice for.
The reality is there are now more parties. There are 65 parties that are registered in Nigeria. Okay. There are more people who are actually showing interest to run for office. As a matter of fact, I was surprised over the last 2 days. I've seen a lot of other people that I didn't even imagine they were going to run. One of them is Evangelist Elisha Maide. I think she wants to run for president as well. So there's more interest in the process. I'm encouraging more people to run. Come out, volunteer yourself. Get involved. Even if you don't win, get involved in the process. And all of that. So, there are now more options for people to be able to take. Vote for the people that you believe have the capacity and the right mindset and the right strategy to actually solve your problems. Because governance must be about problem solving, must be about creating value, must be about actually uplifting people from poverty and actually helping them to, to be able to deliver the dividends of democracy. I said recently in a letter I wrote to my constituents that I'm going to be running that, we must move politics from giving people grinding machine and sewing machine as empowerment or building borehole as empowerment. That's not what we want to see in this day and age. We want to see sustainable development, sustainable empowerment, things that would actually help people to be able to come out of poverty and achieve economic prosperity.
Oh, well said. Okay. Wow. I think I have one more comment. I don't know if I can take that. Okay, we have just a bit of time. One more. Okay, a piece from Ogun State. The president has to know that we the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. We are not lazy. We are wonderful people. The guest has said it all, and I agree with him. More comments are actually coming in, but I can't just really take it. Just summarize it.
Let me add this finally. If you want to run, it's actually very easy. Go back into your community, decide what party you want to run on, be it APC or any other party that exists in your community. You need to join them, then begin to go for their community meetings. You need to go for ward meetings, you need to go for LGA meetings. From here, for example, I'm going for an IPC stakeholders meeting. You need to, get involved, participate. And when it's time to run, volunteer yourself. Say, I would like to join the race and consult, meet people, play a role. It's just easy as going to meeting and being relevant in your community. And, the rest, leave the rest to God and to the electorate to vote for you.
All right, well said, comrade. I was going to call you comrade because a lot of people are calling me comrade. President Buhari is doing what he knows how to do best. not putting Nigerians in the right perspective since the day of John the Baptist. I don't know what that means. This is what you say when you elect someone with, I can't say that it's not right talking bad or insulting the president. I can't take that particular comment. If the youths are lazy, the leaders are looters. David from Songo in Ogun State. That as much as we can take. So many thanks to you, Dayo Israel.
Thank you for having me.
We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That was Dayo Israel, UN Youth Ambassador for Peace, right here in Lagos. And of course in Abuja, we have Samson Itodo, Head Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YAGA. And in Ibadan, we had Comrade Abiodun Bamigboye, Southwest Deputy Chairman, Social Party of Nigeria. And of course, we had Justin, you had Uche Onyekuji. We'll do this tomorrow to have a great Tuesday.
All right, I am Justin Akademi, Mazi Justin Akademi. If you like, thanks for being a part of the show. Join us tomorrow. It's World Malaria Day. Bye for now.
It is passion like you. And you love them, but you don't have the opportunity and the privilege to know them. How they began their career, what's their hustle story, and who exactly are they. Get to know them, get to feel them, and get to know their true personality.
If I wasn't an actor, I'll probably just be some guy that lives in a cave.
Here on